whatever you were born to do, he built into you the ability to do it for his name's sake. I come with good news this week. Your future is in the gift that he gave you. You know why we call it a gift?
Caribbean party, the entire region together in one big splashdown fiesta.
A Caribbean connection, a regional vibration.
I say we jamming to the songs of the Caribbean, we grooving to calypso and steel band. Is one love, so feel free, for we are the people of the Caribbean, showing that we don't want no basin plan.
A Caribbean connection, a regional vibration.
I say we jamming to the songs of the Caribbean, we grooving to calypso and steel band. Together, so should every leader, for we are one people, one destination. So let us move on without hesitation.
A Caribbean connection, a regional vibration.
I say we jamming to the songs of the Caribbean, we grooving to calypso and steel band. The venue is Tobago, and it's going to be a grand show, a true Caribbean Callaloo mix-up. When we start to jam up, we go in non-stop.
A Caribbean connection, a regional vibration.
See we jamming to the songs of the Caribbean. We grooving to calypso and steel band.
My name is Joseph Layne. I am a Grenadian citizen. I'm a trained lawyer and an accountant. I'm the holder of 3 law degrees, a LLB honors from London University, a LLM in commercial and corporate law from London University with merit, and a LLM in legislative drafting from the University of the West Indies. I am the holder of the Legal Education Certificate with Merit from Hewlett Law School in Trinidad and Tobago. Additionally, I also hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University with first-class honors, and I am a chartered accountant, being a member of the ACCA. Due to events in Grenada from 40 years ago, predating the birth of 70% of Grenada's population, I have been denied a license to practice law despite my extensive qualifications and having paid my dues to society. I have decided to share my combined training and knowledge in law and finance to help improve access to justice for our people. I'm embarking on 2 related projects, one dedicated to providing important legal and financial information with a view to improving general legal and financial consciousness. This I will do on a platform named Legalize. The other, Justice Center, just said, dedicated to facilitating direct access to the legal system. In the coming days, I will release more information on Legalize and Justice Center. Please stay tuned.
Comrade Layne, okay, folks, good morning again. A pleasant good morning to all our viewers and listeners around the Caribbean, and in particular those of you in Grenada. With me this morning is Comrade Layne, now legal eye specialist, let's dub that this morning, who will explain to his show and what his intention is for the coming months and years as a legal professional in Grenada. So, Comrade Layne, good morning again and welcome to GEMFM Radio and Genesis Magazine Radio. I think you're muted. Your mic is muted.
Sorry about that. Good morning to you, John, and thank you for having me. And good morning to all the listeners. Good day if anyone is listening in a time zone where it is no longer morning. And again, thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy 2024 to everyone viewing this program.
Go ahead. So, Comrade Layne, you're here this morning just to explain to us about what your program will be like and when it will be aired, where it will be aired, and the basis for why you do what you're doing. I know in the commercial we talk about being denied access to practice law in Grenada, even though you're qualified to do so. But for some reason, you are denied that opportunity to serve your people at a different level. How could you tell us a little bit about that and your program itself, what it entails?
Okay, so let me speak firstly about the program. The program we will speak about now is what is intended to be a weekly show, mainly for educational purposes, to share information with the public on legal issues. And when I say on legal issues, I'm not just speaking about things which take place in the court. That will be part of it. But as you know, we live in a rules-based society. We speak about the rule of law, and there is a legal framework governing every field of activity. At the pinnacle is the Constitution, and then you have laws, you have regulations, you have all different type of rules. So that virtually everything we do on a day-to-day basis has a legal context, has a legal framework. And it's really about explaining the legal framework to the public. So even everyday events, for example, there may be a motor vehicle accident, there may be a domestic dispute, there may be an issue over land, there may be something over intellectual property, and each of those matters, they have a legal framework.
Right.
In terms of rights, in terms of obligations, and if there's a dispute, that is a field in itself. Is a dispute. How do you resolve that dispute? Do you resolve the dispute by going through the court? And if you go through the court, what is required?
Right.
You know? So it is really dealing with those matters and to provide education, provide information, to have conversations and discussions with regard to that.
Okay.
Because the public, the general public, are the consumers of legal information. They are the consumers of legal services. And it is generally said, and it is true, that an informed consumer is the best consumer. You know?
Yes.
So, for example, if people know their rights and they know their obligations, they'll be able to navigate themselves every day through our society. And I think in one of the infomercial I mentioned, drew a parallel with a situation with a doctor. Yeah?
Right.
Where people have knowledge and information regarding their health, they are able to play a role in terms of managing their health. That information empowers them. And in addition to knowing the things they must do day to day and not do day to day, it also enables them to discern, to make an assessment as to when they need professional assistance and professional intervention.
Right.
So the idea of the program and the legalized program is intended to be a weekly program, as I said. And the idea will be I will be hosting the program, and the idea will be to have on together with me on a weekly basis experts in different fields, mainly attorneys, who can address different issues, who can address current issues. You may have a current dispute, you may have a recent court decision, and we can really drill down and examine those so as to be able to provide intelligent and as far as possible expert view.
Right.
So that's about the program. You go ahead. Thanks.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because there is a lot of people who have disputes with neighbors for lands and stuff like that. Can someone be enriched with information about how to go about the legal proceeding to file, a matter in the court for litigation? Are you providing those kind of service as well?
Yeah. So the legalized program will not be a program that provides specific advice for specific matters. It's providing general information.
Okay.
So when we provide this general information, the advice will really be, our view will really be, and it will be stated, that if people have a specific problem, then they should go to a lawyer to address that specific problem. But what we hope to do in these programs is to provide general information, and sometimes not so general because it may be related to a specific issue, so that with that people can get information and get knowledge and get learning, so as to assist them in making an assessment as to whether they need to go to a lawyer or not go to a lawyer, and also that they can engage the lawyer intelligently. So if, for example, they seek to retain legal services, they can engage those services in a very intelligent way, to know what questions to ask,
Right.
Sometimes to intervene, because as lawyers will tell you, clients are the ones who they know their case, certainly the facts related to the case, they know it better than anyone else,
Right.
And if somebody is empowered, something a lawyer may overlook in terms of a fact, having knowledge of that fact, maybe they ask with counsel, what's about this, what's about that, what's about the other. So it's really about providing information, but it's not specifically providing advice to clients with regard to specific matters. At least the legalized program is not for that. The legalized program is for general information to the public, which we hope will enable the public or empower the public to be better consumers of legal services and better understand the rules by which we live.
Okay. You make mention in your infomercial about your becoming a lawyer, studying law, and so on. What was the basis? I mean, you talk about incarceration and stuff like that. What was your basis for you wanting to study law? Or was this something you always wanted to do, but you was in, like you mentioned, involved in the revolution? But now that you are trained and ready to be, but you're denied, what was the guiding factors that make you make that decision while you were incarcerated to become a lawyer?
Okay, there's a number of factors involved. So my path to becoming a lawyer is, as alluded to, is very, very unorthodox. It's very unorthodox, that I actually completed my studies when I was certainly the degrees I did in law, the first and the second degree, by 35, I would have completed those. Yes, those degrees. Prior to that, as you know, and you have alluded to, I was
involved in the revolution, the Grenada Revolution, from a very young age. In fact, in 1979, I would have been 20 years old at the time of the revolution.
Wow.
In 1979, in 1983, I was 25 years old at the time of the demise of the revolution, the invasion of the country. And thereafter, out of all those events, I spent 26 years in prison, as is probably known. So I would have spent most of my adult life by then, in fact, most of my life. At the time I was released from prison, I spent most of my life, in the majority of my life in prison. But I'm not one who wallows in
What was?
I'm not one who wallows in who, you know, in let me put it the proper way. I'm not one who tends to be paralyzed by difficult circumstances, you know.
Right.
I try to really rise above it.
Right.
As they say, make lemonade out of the lemon.
Yes.
To deal with adversity.
Right.
And so once the trial and everything that I went through was out of the way, I said to myself, you know, I need to really focus on the things I have control over.
Right.
I have no control over the past, you know. I am in circumstances, and I adopted. I think I heard you a quotation from Shakespeare this morning. In fact, I adopted one of his famous saying that I will not die until I die.
Right.
You know? So that was my way of really facing up that challenge, and it was very difficult, very challenging circumstances, but that was my way. I saw it as a challenge.
Right.
So two things. At a younger age, I think my father always wanted me to become a lawyer.
Okay.
You know, my father was a police officer for many years, rose to the rank of superintendent of police. Even pre-independence, he had reached that rank, you know.
Right.
So that was really one, but I didn't follow that path, of course. I followed the path in my early years of being a revolutionary.
Yeah.
So it was, I guess as you grow, as one grows older, you get to appreciate the advice and so on of your parents. My mother was like, listen, you can't do anything. You know, whatever you put your mind to, I believe you'll succeed, but you just need to do something that will give you the independence.
Right.
Do whatever it is, but get something that'll be independent, you know? So that was one motivation, because I know law is a relatively, it gives you a certain amount of independence, in particular in small countries as ours.
Right.
So that was a motivation, because although at the time, the warrant that we were living under, our imprisonment was based on a warrant which says that we would be in prison for the remainder of our natural lives.
Right.
But my approach to it, as I said, I didn't just lie down. I never believed that would come to pass. I think that there was so much injustice involved in the manner of our trial and all of those things and the circumstances. It came out of a tragedy, yes, but you know, I always believed that there was light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
So that's the second point now. So the first motivation was in a way to satisfy your parents, to make up, in a sense.
Right.
So, you
Kind
know,
of living the dream of daddy.
in that sense.
Yeah.
Uh,
Living the dream of daddy. Yeah.
the second motivation now was I wanted to play a role in getting the prison doors open.
Right.
I wanted to play a role in that, and I figured that studying law will really assist me in being a informed, intelligent consumer, because at that time I was, along with my colleagues, I was a consumer of legal services.
Right.
So I didn't want a situation where a lawyer just come and tell me this and that and that and the other,
You need to
and I
know.
just accept it.
Right.
So I wanted to be in a position where I could say, no,
Mhm.
I don't think we should go this way, we should go that way. I should say, yes, this is a fantastic way to go.
Right.
So once I studied law from London University from behind bars, extremely difficult circumstances, scarcity of resources, difficulty of exam conditions,
Right.
very, very difficult, you know, but I was able to graduate with honors from London University, my first degree. And that really empowered me in terms of participating and playing a role in framing our legal strategy and also in addressing many of the technicalities that the law, that associated with the law, because we had to, as you may know, we were tried and our matter was dealt with under one system,
Right.
and then that system was changed, and we went back to quote unquote the constitutional court.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and a special law was passed to say that matters which were dealt with under quote unquote the pre-constitution, what they call it, some people call it revolutionary court.
Yes.
That's a misnomer in a sense, because it was not
Illegal.
revolutionary court in terms of the revolution setting it up, but thereafter it was an instrument that was, in a sense, together with all the other things that the revolution set up, it's an instrument that was captured, and then they sought to use it against us.
Right. Right.
But in any case, the important point is that when the movement from one system to the next system, there's a special law stating that matters which were concluded under the
Revolutionary law.
quote-unquote revolutionary court system,
Yeah.
the OECS court, the court of the Constitution, had no jurisdiction to deal with those matters.
Okay.
You know, so we had to find a way around that. And I think my studies were able I was able to play a role in terms of framing that.
Right.
So after I completed the LLB, then I decided that I will do a master's of laws degree from the same London University, but I chose to do it in commercial and corporate law.
Okay. Okay.
So actually that's a specialization I have. Why commercial and corporate law? Because I discovered from the studies of this, from studying law, even at the undergraduate level, that some of the sharpest arguments, you find them in the area of commercial and corporate law. Sometimes millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, could turn just on the wording of a clause, the wording of a provision, you know, the interpretation of a clause or a provision. So it really assisted in sharpening one's mind,
Okay.
the study of that law. So I did corporate law, I did things as insurance, marine insurance, trade law, international trade law, and so.
So I want to ask you another question here, because a lot of people might question you're giving why you have a master's degree, you got honors and stuff, and yet in Grenada somehow the system that is that they does not give you permit you to practice law in Grenada. Why is that so? Is there any rationale for that thinking by the system that is? Do they deny you the right to so-called employment, so to speak? Because that's a profession.
Yes, okay. So let me just give a little background again. So after I came from prison, I applied to the Hewlett Law School for acceptance. The Hewlett Law School is a law school in the Caribbean, but one of 3 law schools in the Caribbean. You have one in Trinidad, one in Jamaica, Norman Manley, and one in the Bahamas. Even if you have a law degree, that by itself does not
Guarantee.
does not qualify you to practice law,
Okay.
because the law degree is seen as the academic qualification.
Right.
But in terms of the professional qualification, in terms of being trained now to
Practice.
participate in the profession on an everyday basis, you must go to one of these law schools in the Caribbean and do a 2-year program.
Okay.
For people coming outside of the Caribbean, there are special provisions. Some of them may have to go to the law school and do a 6 months and so on, right? So I applied for the law school, and I had to do a very competitive exam, because if your degree is from outside of the Caribbean, then you have to do an exam to compete for a place to get into one of these law schools. If your degree is from University of the West Indies, you have an automatic place
Okay.
in one of these law schools. If it is from the University of Guyana, I think they had 25 or 35 spaces allocated to that university.
Okay.
And if your degree is like me, from London University or some other university, then you have to do this exam. And it's quite a competitive exam. So I did the exam, I got in. Then I went to the law school for 2 years. In my applications, I disclose everything about my background.
Right.
So that was not an issue. I disclosed everything. I went to the law school for 2 years. You know, the expense, I incurred the expenses, put in the time, the effort. I graduated, the top echelon of the class from 2013.
Okay.
Because you have different quality. You can graduate with merit, you can be on the Dean's Honors list, or you just graduate. I think there was 220 something of us in the class, and
Wow.
out of that, 7 of us graduated with certificate of merit. So that would have been at the top echelon of the class, right?
Right.
In fact, at the time, I was the only male who graduated. I was the oldest, everything. So imagine I have to be competing against these younger people from all these skills in computers. So that was the background. So I really had the expectation, having crossed that hurdle, having disclosed everything, that I will be allowed to practice, right? The process of being called to the bar in Grenada requires one to make an application to the courts, yeah? And in addition to showing and demonstrating that you have the academic qualifications, which I clearly had, you have to also, you have to also be what is referred to as a fit and proper person.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And basically, the High Court determined that I was not a fit and proper person because I had these convictions for the events coming out of the revolution.
Right.
So that determination was made, and the argument there was that, listen, it's not an issue about whether I will recommit, reoffend in the future. It's not an issue as to whether I will be dishonest. It's not. The argument was, it has nothing to do with me personally,
Right.
right? But the issue was, as I say, the reputation of the bar in the eyes of the public. How the
Okay.
public will look at the fact that somebody with these convictions is allowed to practice law.
So,
And that was the second point.
so in essence, it become political and not legal, if I should say so.
You could put it that way, in the sense that it was the judge made an assessment as to what she believes the public will think about it. Of course, of course, it's both, in my view, it's both political and ideological,
Yes.
right? And I'm not making it in the sense as to say that like the judge was an unfair judge or anything. That's how she saw it, right?
Right.
Out of her eyes. But of course, there are other people who would see it that in the sense that, listen, as many people have said to me, the events happened at a time when you were young.
Yes.
The events were political in nature, right? The context of it was political. The events happened. You have paid your dues
Right.
to the society, and that it is a remarkable, as many people have said to me, it is a remarkable example that one can face these challenges and one can face such adversity and emerge from that in such a
Right.
positive way.
And
So some other person might have seen it that way,
yeah.
but then the judge didn't see it that way. And
Okay.
when the matter went on appeal to the Court of Appeal, and when it went to the Privy Council, the issue was, listen, essentially how the legal system operates, a review court, like a Court of Appeal or the Privy Council has been the final court, they will only interfere with the finding of a judge if they are of the view that the judge made a mistake in terms of the applicable principles of law, or that the conclusion she arrived at was blatantly wrong.
So
Yeah?
okay.
So the test was not whether the judges of the Court of Appeal or the judges of the Privy Council were a different view, right? They would not interfere with the view of a judge. So in that sense,
Yeah.
if it was a different judge and I was admitted, then that would have been the end of the matter. Because it could go both ways. There are people who feel that I should never be admitted because he was involved in and he was convicted for the death of Bishop and others, and which people understandably have a particular view of those circumstances.
Right.
There are people who take that view, and regardless, there should never be any redemption out of that. And there are others who take the view that, listen, there were a lot of circumstances attendant to that, to what happened. The events must be viewed in that context.
Right.
And there's also the example of somebody facing those circumstances and really coming out of it a stronger, more mature, and so.
Right.
So there are different views. And I think the Court of Appeal and the Privy Council said, listen, well, the judge took one view. Generally, she applied the law properly. Generally, there are some errors that were pointed to,
Right.
but they didn't feel the need to interfere.
Right. Okay. Because I'm listening to this, and yes, I know yesterday you was listening, or you were part of the session that was taking place in Grenada yesterday with the legal minds in Grenada. I think it was with the judges and lawyers and so on. And the gentleman from St. Croix, I think it was, made some very interesting points about even your case, where some lawyers take legal matters and try to make it political and stuff like that. I can't remember the brother name right now, but I was thinking about that. I'm talking about the Magna Carta and how that applies even in your case, right? They denying you the right to really function as a lawyer. But having said all of that, you are now practicing in a legal framework of trying to assist and to inform the Grenadian public about their legal rights and matters attaining to their well-being legally. How is that going for you, working with the different fraternities, legal fraternities?
Okay, so just to be clear, I don't think I would strictly say that I'm practicing law, right?
Right.
I work in the legal
Proceed.
field, yes. I have the right to freedom of expression, so I am free to express my views on matters. I think I'm knowledgeable on many matters, not all, but I'm knowledgeable on many matters. I have a unique experience and unique background, and I'm able to look at issues in a way that I think is quite unique, because as again, my background, uh, I was a I went to Presentation College. I was a student activist, revolutionary. You know, as I said, I have that background
Right.
resisting the U.S. invasion,
Mm.
being in prison for years, you know, experiencing very, very difficult circumstances. I have that background, 26 years in prison. I don't think there's any other lawyer in Grenada who has that background.
Right.
In addition to that, I have general life experience and I have experience in the financial field too. I've been studying accountancy, so I'm able to do that. So I think I can bring a unique
Right.
perspective. And that's what I aim to do by these programs. I aim to do two things, as I said. The first thing was to really provide legal information, and then hopefully, as we go on, I hope to spend more time assisting people in being able to access the legal system.
Right, right.
Yeah?
I want to ask a
First thing,
question. Put a pin right there. I want to ask a question because let's say somebody want to go to a lawyer, but they have been offended by someone. They don't know how to approach or what questions to pose to a lawyer get into filing a charge against someone. Would you be that person that would be advising that person on how to move forward in that case?
right. So one of the things that I hope to do is to set up this organization. It has been registered already by called JUSSEN, as I said, JUSSEN, Justice Center, center spelled with an S, you know, that way. And one of the things I hope to do through that is to provide free of cost, free of charge, consultancy services to members of the general public.
Okay.
Yeah?
Right.
So what you said there, somebody has an issue, they can come to me. I will provide that service free of charge.
Okay.
Then I will be able to listen to them and say, listen, I think you have a case. I don't think you have a case. You are free to seek the advice of an attorney, a registered attorney.
Right.
If, however, you want to proceed with this matter, then I am prepared, or we are prepared through this organization to manage. We are prepared to provide a management service.
Okay.
So as to manage your claim. Management of the claim will mean a number of things in that regard because many people cannot navigate. They don't know how to navigate, and understandably so. They don't know how to navigate. Sometimes they are intimidated by the legal system. So in a case as that, then we will be prepared to act as
Mediators.
the agents, engage lawyers on their behalf, and basically manage that matter so that they can get a successful outcome.
Okay.
And the idea will be we do that on a contingency basis so that we only get paid if they are successful. But it's a management service we are providing.
Okay. Okay. Another thing, there's a lot of people who have small businesses in Grenada, and probably they don't want to register the business because they don't want to pay taxes on the business and stuff like that. But what about those people who have a business and they want to properly account for the day-to-day financial run of the business? Do you provide that services as an accountant? Can they come to you and say, look, I have no idea how to set up my books, how to manage, and I just collect my money, put in the job, put in the bank, but they don't have no data and to how the sales went for a particular month and stuff like that. Are you able to provide accounting service to set up accounting system for small businesses in Grenada?
Well, at this time, the answer is no, because despite the fact that I'm a member of the ACCA and I have a degree in accounting, and so I don't really practice accountancy as such, you know. But what I can do and what we can do is to guide them, direct them to people who can help. And that's why I say it's a management service we provided. So
Right.
yes, We can provide a management service in that regard. Somebody can come, we say, you need to register this, you need to register that, you need to set up your books. If you have to go to the bank, you need to do this.
Right.
Look, these are people who do that. You
Okay.
know, you can seek out from one of them. You can seek assistance from one of them.
All right. Let me just make a note here. Folks, you listen to GEMFM Saturday Morning Caribbean Connection. I'm talking with Ewart Layne, former member of the Green Revolution. Now he is in the legal fraternity and he's willing to provide some service and information to the Green public. On the 21st of January, he'll be starting his show. And I want Brother Layne to tell us more about the show, for those who just joined, to tell us about the show, when you're going to be started, and the rationale for the show. Go ahead.
Right. So the show will be starting from Sunday, the 21st of January. That's not tomorrow Sunday, the Sunday after that.
Yes. Yeah.
It will be carried on radio station based in Carriacou, but which it covers from Trinidad to Barbados.
Right.
Vibes 101.3 FM and Vibes 106.3 FM.
Right.
It'll be carried live on that radio station every Sunday starting the 21st of January 2024. It will also be carried on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, what have you.
Yeah.
Because the program will be produced and it will be produced and we will run it from a StreamYard platform.
Okay.
And also you people get it on the internet, and it will also be heard on the radio station.
Right.
And I think it will also be heard on this
It'll be on GEMFM as well. Yeah.
On GEMFM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the content of the program, it's really law, rules of law, how they apply to everyday circumstances.
Right.
So we will be looking at current affairs and looking at putting the eyes of the law on it. We will be looking at cases emanating from the court and putting the eyes of the law on it, you know?
Right.
We will try to really, in the programs, provide information and basically sensitize people as to their rights, the obligations, and as to how the legal system can be accessed in cases of dispute.
Okay.
I will be the host of the program, and regularly they will have guests on the program, and there will be lawyers, attorneys in particular, but sometimes we'll go beyond attorneys because you have people who are experts in their field, which are fields, you have a regulatory framework for the field, and you may be surprised sometimes these people, they are more aware of,
right,
and they are more in tune with the regulations than any lawyer, because you may have a lawyer who has the skill. If they put their mind to it, they'll apply the techniques and the skills and the training to figure out. But
Right.
there are people who do these things every day, and you may want to have one. But thus far, I have had the commitment from at least 9 lawyers from both in and out of Grenada. Right? I expect that once the program gets going, that will expand. I expect it will expand. But I have the commitment from
Right.
lawyers who are in different fields,
Right.
you know, and from across the Caribbean,
Okay.
and even based as far as the UK.
Okay.
But I'll be looking to expand, so hopefully we can bring in people from other Canada, maybe the US, wherever, you know, to make the program lively and rich in terms of content.
Right, right. I want to ask you another question, because I wanted to do it earlier on there, but it's really between the same denial of practice. the judge that made the ruling, is that judge still there, or if she changes, can you reapply to practice?
Okay, so I want to make it clear that I'm not taking the decision personal, right?
No, no.
I'm not taking it personal. The judge was within our jurisdiction to make a decision. Of
Yeah.
course, I disagree with the decision,
Right.
and that's why we went all the way to the Privy Council with it,
Right.
right? But I'm not taking it personal or saying like, the judge this or the judge that. I think it may may surprise people to say I've even had an engagement with the judge since,
Right.
and she said to me, boy, sometimes from where you sit is difficult, but it's a public function and you need to apply. I say, I understand that, yeah. So it's not something I'm taking personal. Uh, that's point one. Secondly, based on the decision all the way up to the Privy Council, there's nothing to prevent me from reapplying at some time.
Okay.
Now, obviously, one will need to demonstrate a change of circumstances, That decision, in my case, is more than 10 years old.
Wow.
So one can argue that, look, there has been a change of circumstances in these 10 years. In fact, I speak and I deal and I engage many young people. There are many young lawyers who go to the law school. They seek me out. They seek me out for assistance. They seek
Right.
me out for consultation. Which I do. I engage them, and they obviously, with the passage of time, they don't have the same emotional feeling and attachment with events from '83
Right.
as people from our generation have.
Right.
But having said that, I have not sought to reapply, and presently it is not on the agenda for me.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to ask that because some people might ask why you not apply again a second
Yes,
time.
there's nothing to prevent me from reapplying,
Okay.
but if one reapplies, you'll have to show a change of circumstances. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, somebody just sent me
In
a
other words-
note, and somebody just sent me a note that asking why you not reapply again until you exhausted them. So,
Yeah,
so and there is still folks who believe that you should be given the opportunity to practice. However, I want to say to you that I'm sitting here and knowing you from where we came from, I must say to you, and I'm probably saying this in public for the very first time, before you and before the general public here, that you are one of the person who inspired me, even to do what I'm doing here. I don't take what I do lightly because I believe that people like you who made people like me and grow to become who I am today is part of who I am. The training, the skill set, the power that was vested in you and others to shape the way I live and function today, and to take into consideration all these things that surround me. I could have just crumbled and say, oh, that's it, done, everything done. But I have seen the resilience and the power that lies within the framework of the co-leaders that I decide, you know what, I have to rise to. I have to do something and not sit down and don't do nothing and become a useless tool in the shop. But I have to. I decided to do what I do here, and it inspiration come from the kind of leadership I got, and the resilience to continue going and pushing forward for higher heights. So I want to thank you for that, and the leadership that you guys provided back then that did not alter my course, but stick to what I want to do and to rise to higher heights. And so having you here today is a real pleasure to having you here with me today to talk about what you're doing and how you intend to help the Ghanaian public. And to me, that is a big step in the right direction to give the Ghanaian public a avenue to consult, to change, to be informed, in legal matters. So a little bit, I know that you're working hard on that, and the 21st will be your first show talking about the legal eyes is the name of the show, right? And folks could tune into GEMFM and Well, I want to give, I can't remember the name of it right now, all the different stations that will be airing the show on the 21st. So persons get opportunity to tune in wherever they are. So you want to reiterate that for us?
Yes, so it will be carried live on 101.3 FM, Vibes FM in Carriacou, based in Carriacou at least, heard from Trinidad to Barbados, 101.3 FM and 106.3 FM. Vibes FM are broadcast on those two frequencies. In addition to that, it will be on YouTube, Facebook, and we will send out the links. We'll send out the links for those in the coming days. So
Right.
I'll send them to you, John, and we'll have it up, and we'll be doing adverts and so. Making the rounds this week. We have 1 or 2 interviews and so to really get this going, because my vision is that this could be something that could grow into something very, very useful.
Right.
All who have checked about it have said that, listen, there's a real need for this, in terms of providing that kind of information to the public. And of course, I'm quite happy to do that. Thank you for your sentiments. My outlook on life is that life is a journey.
Yes.
And things in the past are really just it's not the journey; it's just a stage of the journey.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's a step, maybe a roadblock along the way, or a refilling station along the way. But life is a journey, and as I say, from 1991, that's over 30 years ago, I decided then that I am going to focus on the things that I have control over, and that's I will not die a day before I die.
Yes. yes. I love that. But one of the things I've learned over the years, even when I did 2.5 years of canon and constitutional law, and my eyes was open so much to so much things I see done in society that even the law upholders broke, and I was able to confront and stop several things I see happen in my community by police officers. So I think for me, studying law and especially constitutional law in Canada has opened my eyes to so much things, and I wish more people would study law, not only to practice it, but to have an awareness of their rights and the law. I want to plug just something here, because there is a constitutional committee in Grenada, and that they've been here on the show talking about the law in Grenada and the constitutional law, rights and freedom of Grenadians and stuff like that. Is there any way you're willing to engage with them and to assist them in terms of explaining law and this constitutional law to the Grenadian public? Would that be part of the discussion?
I'm always available to discuss. I'm always available to debate. Once you keep it at a particular level,
Right.
I have certain views on the Constitution, some of which may others may not agree with me, but those are my views. I think I can defend and justify them. So I'm always open to that.
Right. All right. I want to thank you very much for your work that you're doing right now, and my hope is that the Ghanaian public will tune in and get some advice or some help wherever they want to enhance their knowledge on the law. Is there anything else you that you share concerning your show we'll be doing, and why people should tune into the show just before we close off that session?
Well, of course, again, it's yes about getting personal information, but it is basically about two things: assisting in having a more knowledgeable consumer of legal services, more knowledgeable participants in the legal process, which is the everyday process of living, and also to really assist by doing
My
that.
name is Joseph.
Sorry about it. Yeah.
To assist in doing that by enhancing, facilitating access to justice so that people who presently may not have any chance of accessing the justice system, that they can do that and they can successfully do that.
Right.
So that's what I think. I want to really thank you for having me on. And as my vision is that this will be for the long haul in terms of the program. I hope it will grow and really become a staple in terms of provision of legal education, legal information, legal knowledge to the Caribbean people. It'll be a work in progress. I keep saying it wouldn't start perfect. I was planning to start a few months ago, but we really wanted to put a number of things in place, and we'll be seeking to constantly improve so that we can be at a really high level. And we really look forward to continued collaboration with you, John.
Right.
And thank you so much for having me.
GEMFM is always there. I mean, like I say, if everybody don't want you, want anybody, GEMFM is open for you. It's always there.
Okay. Appreciate it.
It is open. I say that your family to GEMFM. You are comrades in arms together. We're here. So whatever you want to do, express, I want to share, feel free to call us here at GEMFM. Let us know what you want to do, and we'll make it the time available for you. You always have
so maybe also I should really publicly for the first time, but it's something I have to continue doing. Thank Vibes 101.3 and 106.3 FM for deciding to carry the program, because I did approach 2 other outlets in Grenada, and one refused and the next one I didn't hear back,
Right.
My plan is that they will regret it.
Yes. Well, like I said, GEMFM is open, so that door will be always open for you. As long as I have life and Genesis is alive, and we're here, we're gonna facilitate anytime you want. Just let us know, and we'll be willing and able to do it for you. Don't worry about that.
I'm sure.
Just call us, and we'll be there for you. That's one thing. We can rest assured that GEMFM will be open for you. There's no denial here when it comes to you. Anybody in that group to come in here and to express and to say anything, they want to share the Grenadian public, you're free to call me and let me know, and we'll just make the time, schedule and set up.
Okay, good.
No problem. Anytime. Call me, you could call Genesis and let her know what you want to do, and even her, you could just call her if you want to do anything. Even to get Genesis. Alright?
Okay.
And she'll facilitate. If you want a special interview, just call Genesis, she'll do that for you as well.
Okay.
All right, that's not a problem. Unison is saying good morning to you. Unison Joseph is saying good morning to you. Josephine Toussaint is saying good morning, and Yulian Alexander is also saying good morning to you. So.
All right, morning to all of them.
Yes. All right. So again, thank you so much, comrade, and looking forward to the 21st. We'll be having you here. Folks, don't forget. Yes, we'll keep in touch.
Okay.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
And go with God. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
One love, my brother.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay. Blessings. Yes, folks, this is GEMFM. I'm your host, the Sheriff. Yours truly, John Cassie. We're just talking with Comrade Ewart Layne. Yes. Unison Joseph, you could come and join me right now. We need to talk to you, talk about the Grenada coming up.
Let's have a party. A Caribbean party. The entire region together in one big splashdown fiesta.
A Caribbean connection, a regional vibration.
I say we jamming to the songs of the Caribbean. We grooving to calypso and steel band.
Join us from January 2024 for a new weekly talk show available to the public on all social media platforms. providing valuable legal information. Join us for Legal Eyes. Legal Eyes will discuss legal issues, including cases already decided in the courts. Hosted by Joseph Ewart Layne, a legal consultant and accountant. Layne is the holder of 3 law degrees, including 2 Masters of Law degrees, plus legal education, certificate from Hugh Wooding Law School. Legal Eyes with Joseph Layne will engage with lawyers within Grenada and across the Caribbean to bring you valuable legal information. Leading up to the start of the program, Layne recently did an interview explaining the motivation behind Legal Eyes and the content of the program. We invite you to listen.
Well, Legalize is intended to share information on legal issues with the public. So my intention is to give the public the benefit of my knowledge and experience in the field of law. So I have an LLB honors degree in law from London University, which I obtained in 1996. I also have an LLM, a Master of Laws degree from London University in corporate and commercial law. And besides that, I have the legal education certificate from Hugh Wooding Law School with merit. It's the certification that all lawyers in the Caribbean are expected to have in order to be able to practice law. And that goes back to the 1970s when the Council of Legal Education was set up. So I have that also, which I obtained in 2013. And I also have a master's degree in legislative drafting from the University of the West Indies, which I obtained in 2017. In addition to that, I've worked with lawyers from Grenada, Trinidad, Dominica, St. Vincent, Guyana, Jamaica, England, on many matters over the years, matters at the magistrate court level, the Court of Appeal, the Caribbean Court of Justice, and also the Privy Council. Of course, my role in all of those matters was providing support, drafting documents, drafting submissions, and so on. I'm working along with the lawyers. Yes, I have a degree in accounting, first class honors degree from Oxford Brooks University in accounting, and I'm also a full member of the ACCA, so I'm in fact a chartered accountant. So it has to do with the events in Grenada from the period 1979 to 83. As a young man, I'd like to say in a previous life, I was a revolutionary. I was a participant in the Grenada Revolution. And I got involved in the tragic events of 1983 that saw the demise of the revolution. As a result of that, I was imprisoned, and I was part of what was referred to as the Morris Bishop murder trial and part of the Grenada 17, so we had those convictions. So I spent many years in prison, and it was during those prison years that I decided to undertake the study of law. So my LLB honors degree from London University, the LLM with merit from London University, the ACCA, the degree in accounting from Oxford Brooks University, were all obtained while I was an inmate in Richmond in prison. When those events occurred in 79, I was, at the time of the revolution, I was 20 years old. At the time of the events in 83, I was 25 years old. I spent 26 years in prison. So, in fact, I'd spent most of my adult life in prison, you know. And, I had tremendous regrets and of the events that took place. You know, I always say, if I had the power to do one thing, I would have changed. I would have rolled back the clock and changed all of that, you know. But so I decided while in prison that, listen, I will have to focus on the things I have control over, and despite the prison conditions, very difficult at times, I really have committed myself to obtaining professional and academic and professional qualifications. What we're trying to do with this program is to touch events, everyday events in the lives of people, but always look at it from the legal angle. So, for example, you have a situation where somebody got injured in a motor vehicle accident. It happens every day. We will try to bring the eyes of the law on it, to see if there are parties who are liable, what is the extent of the liability, if there are people who are injured, what are the entitlements in terms of compensation, what are the procedures that they should employ. That's one. Then there are always property issues that we'll always try to focus on and explain to people the legal aspects of those. Additionally, in terms of the court process, because something I have observed in my working in the field of law with at least 2 law firms in Grenada, is that many times people receive claims, people receive lawsuits and they ignore it, and then they get what is referred to as default judgments. So just to really make the point to people, once you get documents from the court, you must respond to it. And those things, as I said, my training in law is diverse. Besides all the subjects, when you do an LLB, you do at least 12 different areas of law: criminal law, civil law, constitutional law, land law, law of trust, jurisprudence. So I did those subjects, but in addition to that, at the master's level, I also did corporate law, insurance law, marine insurance law, international trade law. I did those. And then when I did the other master's degree, I did things as electronic law, administrative law, constitutional law, of course, legal drafting, intellectual property law, So I have a background in all those areas. And, I think that I like to share, I like to share information, and I think that I'm equipped to do that. And therefore, I'm trying to use this avenue and this platform to share that information with the public. But the idea is to tap into lawyers from around the region. I work with lawyers out of Grenada, out of St. Vincent, out of Dominica. I have contacts in St. Lucia, Trinidad, England. So those, I already have the commitment from several lawyers that they are willing to assist in whatever way, and whatever way is convenient for them, they are willing to assist. So that's what will be the focus. So I try to bring on people who are knowledgeable in the particular field and who can speak with knowledge, and who can speak with who are basically experts in the field. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what we will work to achieve over time. And I should just say that in addition to these programs, one of the things Legalize will do is to do videos, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 12 minutes videos on different topics of interest to people. Again, put in simple language, and we may even break them up into shorter ones. So for example, there'll be videos on mortgages, because yes, most of the people have mortgages, but many times people don't understand the mechanics of a mortgage, I have met people who are, they complain, I've been paying my mortgage all these years, and when I check my principal, not going down. Well, there's a reason for that, and people need to understand that. And then there's also something that I'm very concerned about, what I refer to as a debt trap. You see, many times people paying mortgages, and they fall on hard times, and then they get caught. The debt start to mount rather than going down. And then after that, the only way this matter could be resolved in terms of dealing with that debt is the property they have put up as security is sold. And it's very sad, and I've seen several examples of it. So you can expect these videos, mortgages, wills, intestacy, all of those things, Over time, I hope that all of these things will be done, because the objective here is really to improve legal and financial consciousness, so people can make better decisions, people can understand the situation. People can know, for example, when they need to go to a lawyer. Just like a good analogy is each of us as an individual. We need to know when we can treat an issue with our body for ourselves and when we need to get a doctor. You know, but that comes from knowing our bodies, knowing how those things function. You don't have to be an expert, but at least you have to have a certain amount of information, a certain amount of consciousness.